guess there's a lot of stereotypical connotations about acting white versus acting within another ethnicity. I don't know that I can answer that. I don't know what it would be to act white. Maybe act entitled. Like you have whatever you need whenever you want it.
So acting white is more trying to act normal, go with the common flow, you know, not try to stick out. Obviously, acting white has a little bit of a characteristic of acting like entitled above other people, to not necessarily a race, just like for any reason, be it wealth or power, position.
I think acting white means acting privileged, kind of like you don't have to work for what you get, like you just kind of deserve it for being you.
I think people just made an image of themselves of what they believe white people look like or act like, and I believe that's where the term came from. Like they made a metaphor of what they think white people are, and that's what they're assuming. That's what they're basing it on.
I could naturally see that on a college campus, like stop acting white, or wow, you're acting so white to someone who isn't white, and you know, I don't necessarily know where it started, but I see it something being as casual as that and just taking off by storm.
From like a lot of TV shows and like movies, how like some of the girls on those TV shows, they like fit a certain stereotype. So like when you watch them, you say like, oh, that girl's acting white, like on the TV show. It's kind of like we just associate a lot of the famous people with acting like that and like attach that to their race.
I would say social media, like stuff like Twitter.
More in like a casual sense. I don't feel like it's like at work or like in a school classroom necessarily, but just kind of like your everyday, like.
I've heard that term a lot, like in high school and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's probably just among like young millennials, just in high school, college, that kind of area, or just even sometimes in the workplace, you can find yourselves like, I guess, acting white.
It would come with more of like a kind of both of a bad connotation, like a good connotation. If like kind of depends who you are, and when like someone says you're acting white, it's kind of like, oh, you're being more like proper, or like in that the way people think like other people aren't, like, you know, just kind of more high up on a like pedestal or something like that.
It kind of depends on the scenario. Like if somebody told me that I was acting white, it probably means I'm just dancing. You know, if somebody from a different race in like in a public high school says stop acting white, it probably comes with a negative connotation, but it definitely doesn't always. But that's probably the scenario that you'll see it the most, is probably in like public high schools, I would imagine.
It doesn't have any negative connotation or anything like that, or any positive connotation to that point. It's just one of those words, or just one of those things where it's just like, we shouldn't be doing that. Someone shouldn't be like, oh, you're just acting too white or anything like that. You're just being yourself, you know what I'm saying? So
Be meant as a joke, but maybe would fall again under that category of white privilege. Things like complaining about like your new iPhone that doesn't work the way you want, things like that, I don't know, that maybe we take for granted.
Complete sentences, correct grammar, like I mentioned, the subdued personality. Really, I think it's the ability more so to just blend in with the white majority.
When you tuck in, like, you know, tuck in your shirt, or like a proper way of acting, people are like, oh, you're acting white, and that's really not how it is, but like it's just you're not acting like anything else, like another like character or culture or like characteristic. So like that would be kind of like that.
While majority of the responses I received were similar, there were definitely some that surprised me. I know that a lot of people focus on the aspect of blending in with the crowd as a characteristic of acting white. This to me really stuck out because of what we talked in class regarding white being seen as average or typical. And so questioning others and reading up about this topic has made me realize the insidiousness behind a simple phrase like this. It's used in schools between peers to keep minority students down who wish to try hard and do better because they're seen as not acting like one of their own. It's just ridiculous. When people pull others down and make fun of them for trying to succeed, it just keeps everyone at that same level, and the cycle just keeps going, and nothing will ever change. And so I feel like it's a big struggle if you're called this and it's seen as a negative light, because you feel like you can't do well, and if you do well, then you're not one of your own. You're not a part of your race anymore. But if you don't try, then you can't ever succeed, and you're just stuck.